Hello my friends, my family, my esteemed colleagues. Today we are going to talk a little bit about parasites, but not only parasites. We are going to talk about any other living form that is living within us or can be living there and affect our health. Now, I was asked to talk about parasites, but there is no really difference between bacteria, fungus, rickettsia, mycoplasma, or bigger forms of life that feeds on our garbage. This is important to understand. They are all garbage feeders. So if you have a material, biological material, that is stuck in your body, then automatically your body will react to try to take it out. Now we are programmed to deal with small biological matter, because when we eat correctly, this is all we get. And our white blood cells, our macrophage, is there, body produces it to destroy whatever garbage is left over. Now, it can also destroy bacteria, but every living form that will be attacked by our white blood cells has to be marked with GCMF, with protein marker. Now, why would we have this garbage? Because number one, we eat incorrectly. And why, if we already have bacteria and fungus, why can they live in our body without causing trouble, and then all of a sudden they start producing like crazy and cause trouble? Well, it is all about the level of the availability of the food. So if you have a small amount of food available, if you don't produce a lot of garbage, if the blood is fairly free of free-floating garbage, biological garbage, then your macrophage will deal with it, or if it's a little bit more, bacteria or fungus will be produced. They are produced in our bodies. They also, once when they exist, they can be transmitted. But you don't have to be exposed to any bacteria to have it. And this is very obvious with our gut. Our gut has bacteria. We say, oh, they came with the food. Body created them because the mass that ends up after being digested or started with digestion has different vibration. And now bacteria was not on this food necessarily when the food was in the nature, but because of change of the ambient, it is not happening instantly. It is a process. Everything is a process, but it will build up into bacteria, and depending what kind of food you are eating, if the food has difficulty of being digested by itself or by your body, microorganisms are going to form to deal with it. And the more garbage you have, the bigger amounts of garbage you have, now you need something more than just the bacteria. And now is when single cell parasites or multi-cell parasites come into action. But for parasite, there is another thing. A lot of these parasites that we have in our intestines, for example, they fasten themselves to the intestinal wall. Some of them actually soak the juices already being absorbed into intestinal wall. They suck them and feed on them, like tapeworm, for example. And some of them live free, and they just process the garbage, process what we cannot process. So it is more likely that you are going to have parasite infestation when you eat incorrectly. And the worse you eat, the bigger chances you have. Now, some parasites go through transformation from egg to larva, larva to parasite. And some of these in-between forms are living in different parts of the body. So there are certain parasites that can come through mosquito, for example, and they turn into larva state first, from egg into larva. Larva is migrating. It has to find a way into your intestines. And sometimes it migrates borehole through your lungs, sometimes even in the eyes. You can see it. Until it finally gets into the intestine. Some of them remain living within muscle or within blood vessels. Again, they would not be there if there is no food. But because our cells do not work correctly, they will stay. And they can easily attack the cellular wall, because usually when we don't eat correctly, we become dehydrated, especially on a cellular level. And as we dehydrate, cells become more acidic. As they become more acidic, they cannot hold electric charge. And again, we go back into quantum physics. It is way better to explain things through biophysics than through biochemistry. Biochemistry is a baloney. It's a field of confusion created so we become confused, and we can easily be persuaded to believe lies. In biophysics, this is almost impossible because it's very clear. When you have high voltage, cellular voltage, your cell is well charged, vibrational field of this cell is going to be very stable. And another energy, which could be parasite or bacteria or fungus, they cannot really change its vibration because it's very stable. It cannot feed off of it. So, little by little, they will just dwindle and disappear because nothing is supporting this vibration. Body is not prepared for it, does not care about it, so it is not supporting it. Now, if we transform now this with our brain into projection of programming, we see this cell with strong vibration, with high voltage, automatically has strong magnetic field, which means it is going to repulse anything that is positive. And I have explained before that every living thing on the outskirts, on the outside, is positive, on the outside layer. Which means now if bacteria, fungus, or bigger creatures, like one-cell parasites, like amoeba, like mycoplasma, rickettsias, or multicell living forms like worms or other parasites, parasitic forms, since they are positively charged and the cell has strong positive charge, they don't attack it because it's like you putting tank on a battery. Who likes it? Nobody. So the stronger is the charge, the stronger magnetic field pushes them away, and even if they would try to touch it, they get shocked. So it doesn't work. This is why happy people are healthy people. And they can eat exactly the same food like somebody else, and the other person is full of problems, including parasites, and the happy person, nothing. Now, I have mentioned also when I spoke about vibration of food that when we eat correctly, our stomach produces very strong hydrochloric acid that actually liquefies proteins. So if parasite is trying to come, or egg of parasite coming in through food, well, the hydrochloric acid is going to turn it in a soup. Will become food for yourself. Problem is, because again we are being told that this kind of food is not healthy. Keep away from it, especially raw. No, it'll kill you, bacteria, but shit. If you already insist on meat, you gotta really kill it. So you cannot see blood, no, nothing red, you gotta scorch it. Well, you basically coagulate the protein. When protein coagulates, it actually unravels, it breaks, lets water out, so it shrinks. It becomes shoe leather. You have destroyed all his enzymes, and your enzymes cannot penetrate. So now there is no other thing that can deal with it than something bigger, which is bacteria. And then this type of a bacteria that is going to attack it produces also gas. You are talking about rotting, you are talking about putrefaction. So if you go to bathroom and you need a gas mask, this is your immediate sign that you are extremely toxic. Your intestines are toxic. Toxicity have foul odor. Now, if you ate correctly, this would not happen. One of the parasites, common, is a tapeworm, that people don't even know they have it, because the other types of worms, the smaller worms, they usually, when they lay eggs, they come close to anus. And then when they move there, you have sensory nerves and you feel it and it itches. So you go to doctor and takes a sample and finds a parasite. But tapeworm, you don't even know. Tapeworm can be meter long or longer, and it's fragmented, and then several fragments. It always like a tail of a lizard. Just let them loose, and those are eggs in there that come out with excrement. And now, if they manage to get on a food again, and again, if you eat incorrectly, and even dogs get it. Why? Because they eat incorrectly, because they are eating human food. There are a lot of lunatics who prize themselves. Oh, my dog, my cat is vegan, vegetarian, wow! But look at the cat. And then you worry, oh, she has leukemia. What the hell do you think is going to happen when you poison your cat with something that is not supposed to eat? So, wake up. Why is tapeworm sticking to your gut? Because it can. You are low on energy. There is a blood electrifier, little machine, made by, this one is made by Sota in Canada, but many manufacturers make it everywhere, in Germany, in France, in New Zealand. That's what I know of. But I'm sure that everywhere there is somebody making this, because Dr. Beck put the blueprint for making them on YouTube. Many people downloaded it and they are making them, and some of them are selling them. So what happens when you put the blood electrifier? You connect it on your wrist and it starts pulsing, and it gives you a little higher electric charge directly into your blood. And now what happens when you have tapeworm, for example, and other worms that like to cling to the intestine? All of a sudden they got zapped, they feel uncomfortable. You don't like to keep your tongue on a battery connectors. Huh? Not, even if the battery is weak, you don't like it. So what happens with worms like this? They let go. And by the time they let go, from the intestinal contraction, because it's like squeezing and pushing things out, they are being moved. You don't use pulse for long, use it for 1 hour. So for 1 hour, they move a few inches or more. And then as you stop electrifying, very rapidly the voltage goes down, especially because your cells are acidic, so they cannot hold the charge and they just discharge by themselves. And the worms can again grab hold of your intestines. But everybody who had problem with these parasites and used pulsar, and you start eating correctly, this is important because you want to keep the charge on even when you disconnect the pulsar. You want the charge of the cells to remain strong as long as possible. As they cleanse the acids, as they hydrate and cleanse the acids, the voltage will start remaining stable. And the parasite, now the worm cannot hold anymore because it bothers it, even when you are not electrified. And little by little, your intestines are pushing it, and one day you get out of the bathroom and you faint seeing this huge thing that is rolled up, and is this from me? Yeah, darling. We have all kinds of crap in our intestines because we eat crap. And we are told that the crap is the best possible thing because it will elevate you. Well, now you know. There are ways we can chase some of these things out of our body. In the past, the best remedy ever was turpentine for just about any parasite, and many ways to apply it. Drink a little bit, or put it on compressed, on a cloth, especially if you heat it, so you can take a salt, your sea salt or any kind of salt, heat it up to become really hot, put it in a cloth, wrap it up so it keeps the heat, put on top a little bit turpentine, and put it on, if you have a bite, and if sometimes flies leave egg inside, then you just keep it there a little bit, and the heat and turpentine will kill it, and body will chase it out. And turpentine absorbs, so it is going to chase also parasites out of your blood. But this is too simple because, again, pharmacy cannot control it. And what pharmacy cannot control, it bashes. So nobody is using, you cannot buy any more turpentine. They use it only as a pain thinner. But in pharmacy, you cannot buy it because it's not in their interest. Another thing, for one cell and parasites and eggs of parasites is nanoparticle. Remember, nanoparticle colloidal silver. Don't buy the other ionic crap. It doesn't work. It has to be nanoparticle. Why? because silver does not have the properties until the net is completely built, the structure, and it needs minimal size of nanoparticle to start having all the properties of silver. And even in nanoparticle, again, this is from 0.15, 25 microns up to 1 micron. The larger is the nanoparticle, the darker yellow is going to be nanocolloidal silver. The larger is the particle, deeper yellow, goldish yellow it gets before it gets red, because that becomes too big for absorption. But the darker color, the more sensitive to light it becomes. So you have to be really careful not expose it to sunlight, it turns black. If colloidal silver doesn't turn black when it's exposed to sun, throw it in the garbage, because that's where it belongs. It has to react to light. It has to have its proper oxidation characteristic. It oxidizes. If it doesn't oxidize, why the hell would you need it? So, if you use nanoparticle colloidal silver, this is going to destroy all the eggs of multicellular parasites that you may have in a body. So if you use it daily, then in a while the old parasites will die, new are not coming, not being reproduced, and you will be clean. But some of these parasites, like in a dog's heart, worm can live 6 years, which means 6 years every day the dog has to drink colloidal silver, which is not a problem because colloidal silver is not toxic. But we are being on purpose scared by pharmaceutical industry. So you look colloidal silver and you see blue man. Wow, I don't want this. Well, I'm using it 20 years and I'm not blue. And all my clients are using it or have been using it, because you don't have to use it all your life. I used it because of my crowns on my teeth, but to kill bacteria so I don't have bad breath. But if your teeth are fine, gums are fine, you eat correctly, you don't need it. But for healing purposes, especially during cleansing process and healing process, it's a great supplement. It's the only supplement I recommend because it's not medicinal. It is not toxic. It does not stop cellular hydration. You can drink a gallon of it and your cells will continue hydrating, which means it will penetrate into the cells, and if there is any problem there, any microparasites, it is going to destroy it. And like mycoplasma in a brain, saturate yourself, put it intravenously, put colloidal silver, nanoparticle colloidal silver, put it in the vein, and it is going to destroy mycoplasma in your brain, in your eyes. The point I'm trying to make is that parasites, we should not really fight them. We should make it impossible for them to, number one, penetrate, but if they do, then you know how to deal with them. Even mosquitoes will not be biting you if you're not toxic. The cleaner you are, the less they will bother you. When I'm here sitting, there are mosquitoes, sometimes they come from the outside, and my clients go and I have no problem. And if they bite me, I just don't really feel it much, and they fly away, and that doesn't itch, doesn't do nothing. So Body, when it's clean and healthy, reacts completely differently than what is toxic. This is why detox is the most important thing we can do for our body. Detox cannot be done if you don't eat correctly. Well, you can still eat carbohydrate and continue detoxify even on the cellular level, but carbohydrates come with vegetation. So yeah, if you eat pure rice, and if it was not raised in a field with a lot of herbicide and pesticides, then the rice does not have many phytoproteins because it's a pure sugar. And you can hydrate on a cellular level. But the genetics are being shifted. So your body just does not perform as it should. No matter what, as soon as you touch the forbidden food, you are in trouble, one way or the other. We have to learn this, and we have to get rid of this forbidden food. The sooner the better. You can chase parasites out by making them drunk, using alcohol, or using garlic. Same principle. It's neurotoxic. When garlic hits parasite, it causes spasms. So if parasite is attached itself to intestinal wall, as soon as garlic zaps it and it absorbs it through the skin, you can step on a garlic and in 10 minutes it smells on your fingers because it rapidly absorbs. So as it absorbs in a parasite, it causes spasm. So parasite, let's say tapeworm, makes opens the mouth and gets dislodged by movement of intestines, and also will slowly chase him out. But all these, everything what is toxic to parasite is also toxic to your cells. Your cells will close down, so it doesn't kill them. Little damage will be done during the time of closing, because it doesn't close, it doesn't have door that pop. Its osmotic action has to be stopped, and osmosis continues for another 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, depending how good your osmotic pump was running. So still for that period of time you are absorbing the toxins and you are being harmed, especially with garlic, since it's neurotoxic. It slows down the impulse for heart contraction, so your heart squeezes with less force and your blood pressure goes down. Oh, garlic is medicine, we should eat every day, we have low blood pressure. You slow down your circulation. Your lymphatic circulation will stop. You are harming yourself. And same you are doing with every heart medication you are taking. We should not be controlling something that body wants to improve on. So if body decides that it needs faster circulation and increases the heart rhythm, well, there is a reason. Look for the reason. Fix the reason. Well, no, we'll just slow down the heart. No? That's medicine. And it's no difference between allopathic or the more body-friendly alternative medicine. But still, you are using medicinal remedies. Elevated sugar, cinnamon. Load up on cinnamon. Poisoning your body. We have to learn the truth. Guys from alternative medicine, please I know this interferes with your business. This is why I'm always kicked from every discussion when it comes to treatments, because allopaths, they want their pharmaceutical drugs, alternative medicine wants their herbs, so they all sell something. And when you know the truth, you don't need anything. You just correct your diet and help cleansing by supplying more salt, more minerals. It has to be minerals, not just table salt. Is pure garbage, and it was poisoned, and poisoned with iodine. Okay? Put more iodine. You see us absorbing, put more iodine. Yeah, you need iodine when you are toxic. You need a lot of it, because again, it is acting like any other medicinal remedy. It prevents cellular absorption, puts your cells into fight and flight mode. So this way it's more difficult to penetrate them, but at the same time, cell does not hydrate and does not cleanse. So do you want this 24/7? Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year? Think about it. Okay, my friends? Time to think, time to wake up. Everybody, everything we have been told, including Ayurveda science, Ayurveda medicine, it's all fake, it's all faulty. Love you all. Till next time.